She's on the
money.
She's on the money.
Would you like to hear the DM we got this week?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. It's going to piss you all off. Hey there. I found one of my colleagues' 2023 payslips saved in our shared files. She obviously put it there by accident. I was shocked. He was making 25% more than me right now, but 2 years ago. Oh. So it was from 2023. Oh, since then, I know he's had another pay rise because we've talked about it. And we're in the exact same role. But they're a male. They are 5 years older than me. They do have an MBA. I'm currently studying mine. I recently got a 4.5% rise. But it doesn't actually feel like enough when I'm always taking on more responsibilities in the team. I know experience matters, but how much of a gap is actually fair? And how do I even bring this up, especially given how I found out? I'm feeling a little bit undervalued. I'm feeling undervalued, unmotivated, and honestly, like I'm just being treated like cheap labor. How would you guys approach this?
First of all, pay secrecy is not a thing anymore, which I am cheering about. It should never.
It's not, but if it is in your contract right now, you need to be very careful about what that looks like because you have a signed contract with your employer. But so it's not allowed to be in future contracts, and there's a lot around enforcement, but like I don't want you to be the first person to test that out and have your employer sue you, all right?
So dumb, the whole pay secrecy.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Dumb.
I agree.
It's such an
You will not
easy
find
way.
a pay secrecy clause in a she's on the money contract.
No, it's just like, hey, we
Can
don't
you
want
imagine if you were
anyone.
like, hey V, did you write this?
weird. So strange. But I think like you don't have to say where you got that information. I feel like I would just be like, oh, I don't know, I found out, but I know that you get paid more. I don't know. I know it's really dumb, but I just would never tell anyone how I found out or why.
Would you just go to your colleague? Because I feel like
I'd go to my colleague.
I'm
But
sorry,
you've
you've got a shared drive with your colleague, do you not?
It's very disheartening. It's so disheartening that this is still happening. And it's like, what's more disheartening is that like, I just fear people don't take it seriously enough. And like, if you were to go to your boss who may or may not be a male and said, you know, your concerns are that he's probably getting paid more because, let's be honest, probably because he's a man. It's like no one's going to take that seriously. And it's so tiring. It's so exhausting. It's so disheartening. And I'm just like, almost as a part of me that's like, well, it's always going to be this way. It's so arbitrary. Men are not better than women. Women are not better than men. We're all intellectually exactly the same unless we like one's studied more, one's more educated. Like it's all about the person. It's not about the gender. It's just so, why is it still a thing? I'm so exhausted by it. But anyway, I think that I've also really hated that whole like, you know, salaries based of experience. It's like the role is the role. You're still doing the same thing. The role doesn't change based on like, it may be at the start, it might be like, let's see how fast you get kind of like into it. But once you're in it, you're doing the same day to day. It's the same thing. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. It doesn't matter how much education you have. You're doing the same role. Your past should not even be looked at. So maybe it's because of experience. Maybe it's because of the MBA. It doesn't make you more or less valuable if you're doing the exact same role. And it sounds like you're taking on more responsibilities too. So I'm like, you should be getting paid the same. Sorry, you should be getting paid the same. Anyway, I don't know how to go about it. I think talk to your boss, but what are they going to do? They might not take it seriously. I don't know. It's so silly.
Jess, you find out that the other partnerships manager in our business that does not exist gets paid 25% more than you, and they have been for the last 2 years. What are you doing?
Oh, I would not be thrilled, I can tell you that much. I don't think you even need to go to your colleague necessarily because I do agree it is a bit of an awkward thing to bring up. Oh, I accidentally.
It's not their fault most of the time.
It's not their fault. I accidentally saw your payslip.
Yeah.
And I will say, as much as yes, pay secrecy isn't a thing, like people still have a right to decide what information they do and do not share. Like I would hope, like I would comfortably talk about my salary with anyone on our team, but not everyone has that relationship with their colleagues.
And like you're allowed to be private about that. So
Correct.
yes, pay secrecy is now illegal to put into contracts, but like Jess, if I said, how much do you earn? And you didn't want to tell me, you don't owe me anything.
Absolutely.
You have the right to talk about it if you want to. No one's going to reprimand you for it. But like, honestly, sometimes you don't want to tell your colleague what your income is or like how hard you've worked or, it's just nobody's business. And like, I know that you guys might be like, but V, you talking about it all the time. And I do. And I think that you should be sharing that if you're comfortable to do so.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think I would like probably just bypass my colleague, to be completely honest, and go straight to my boss.
Straight in the door.
Yeah, I'm knocking, I'm kicking it down. I'm saying, you, me, we're having a chat.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And I agree with Beck. Like you don't need to tell them how you know. You just know. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
And I would probably be leading before going in, I would be doing, as I think we've said this before, but like cross-check your responsibilities against their responsibilities. You've said you're taking on a lot of additional things. Perhaps that's happening for them as well. Have as much information as you can going in.
Jess is really scary. Yeah. So, yeah.
Have as much information going in and then say, hey, like, can you please explain to me? Like I would kind of put it on them and say, well, you've deemed this person as, you're paying them this much more. Can you explain to me what the reason for that is? Because then it kind of puts the onus on them to either say, oh, well, the MBA, or they do all this extra stuff or whatever. Or
yeah, did you realize X, Y, and Z is part of their responsibilities? And you go, oh my God, I had no idea. Like,
yeah, it kind of protects you a little bit, but it also like theoretically, like if they can't justify it, then they kind of look like an idiot. And hopefully that primes them to then go, okay, well, I think the most reasonable thing to do is to match the salary.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like I've had a lot of people in our community in this situation, and research is going to be your best friend. Like research the role, work out what's going on. Honestly, I'm a bit cut and dry with things like this. Like if I found out that someone was genuinely, or I felt like they were taking advantage of me, even if they gave me a salary increase because I asked, I don't know how I'd feel about them moving forward. I feel like and my mum always used to say this to me growing up, but I'm too black and white. She's like, you can't live in the grey, Victoria. You need to learn that sometimes there's this grey area, and like I've just never been able to do it. So I feel like once I've written somebody off, sorry, you're done. And so for me personally, I'd be like, okay, cool. You clearly undervalue me. I'm going to find a new job. I'm going to work out what the hell's going on. Because even if you enjoy the job, clearly they don't value you in the same way that they're valuing your colleague if you are correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a conversation about what you want to be paid. I mean, I'd probably just walk in and be like, hey, so I was thinking about this role, what it's valued at, done my research, and I actually think it's worth, let's pretend that your colleague gets paid 100 grand. I think it's worth 100 grand. And I would be keeping up the sleeve, like on my sleeve, that I know that my colleague gets paid that. And when they say, oh, we can't afford it, we can't, that's not what's in budget for that role, you'd be like, Brett gets paid that.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was fair to match it. Are you guys?
Hit him with the hard stuff.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine how mortifying that would be if they're like trying to backtrack and be like, oh, sorry, Beck, can't afford that. And you go, yeah, all right, well, Jess has that. So like, what do you mean you've got budget for them but not me, after agreeing that they're the same role?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right thing to go and do, like in terms of backing somebody into a corner, but I'm very much a hold your cards close to your chest. If you have some information, that don't give them the information straight up. Do you know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, well, I know. And they'll be like, okay, cool. Well, now I know what I'm working with.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to lead you down the garden path.
Yeah.
And then when you tell me no, I'm going to be like, sorry.
Sucked in.
This actually was more for me than for you. And so, yeah, I would be trying to have that conversation. But yeah, I just think go find people that value you. Like
Completely.
even if you think you're happy now, I can almost guarantee that you'd be happier somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally. If
But
it
if you
doesn't
can't
work-
leave, a different story. Anyway.
Name and shame, because we want employers to be scared to not pay.
Yeah.
equally.
Anyway, we asked the community, we said, if you found out your colleague was earning 25% more but you weren't meant to know, what would you do? 63% of you said, obviously I'd bring it up. The pay gap is the issue. 29% of you are VDs and you said, I'm starting job hunting. And 8% said, I would say nothing. I wasn't meant to say that.
No, back yourselves in, queen.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry, do you know what? I believe there is a reason for everything. There is a
Yeah.
reason you saw that.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what? Your colleague might know.
Maybe.
What if your colleague was like, don't know how to bring this up. I feel really awkward. I'm going to save my pay slip there so that Jess finds it.
Yeah. Maybe they're an ally.
Exactly. Anyway, is 25% more pay fair if someone has more experience? 33% said, yeah, experience matters. The other 33% said, no, not if it's like exactly the same work. 24% said, I think it's the MBA. And 10% said, I feels like a gender thing, TBH. I think it's a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a massive conversation. Next person. Oh, sorry. We then went to the community and said, guys, what is your 2 cents? And Lord, you had at least 4. First person said, arm yourself with market data and state your case to your manager. Okay, just Richie, get out of our DMs. Next person said, experience and qualifications matter, but 25% difference in the same role does seem like a stretch.
Yeah.
Someone else said, how would they feel if someone with less experience and qualification was getting the same pay as them?
I mean,
I don't care.
Yeah. It's a good point to look at it from the other side, but our person said that they feel they're the same. So it's.
I don't know if this is divisive to say, but as an employer, I'm going to use Jess as an example. You've worked for me for 5 years, nearly 6, terrifying. I've loved all of them. In that period of time, yes, Jess doesn't have a degree. Yes, there's been like a lot of development in the role, more responsibilities. Obviously, she's also had pay rises. But in that time, she has gained a deep understanding of she's on the money, a deep understanding of being able to talk on my behalf, trust, responsibility. That's not just like, oh, someone comes in. So let's say she's on the money somehow doubles overnight and we need 2 partnerships managers. I can guarantee you right now that the salary I would offer to market, and I'm happy to be quoted on this, would not be Jess's salary.
I see. That makes sense.
Because to me right now, it's not about degrees. It's not about qualifications. Yes, I'd be looking for that. And yes, the role would be marketed as such. Like I'm not going to try and underpay someone. That's not the case. I don't think anyone that works for me would agree that that ever happens. It would be market fair going rate. But I'm not going to pay them what Jess gets because Jess has that 5 years of experience of deeply understand. Like if Jess answered my phone to a client, I would trust her that she knows she could give my advice. She knows.
Yeah.
And I don't think that if someone came in with less qualifications and then was like, well, if someone came in with like a full degree or whatever you need for that role, and they found out what Jess earned, because Jess can tell them, I don't care. I would very happily have that conversation that they weren't being matched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's a
right.
reason for that.
Yeah.
And it's a good reason.
And it's exactly. And I think that there's a good reason for that. And maybe you could think about that. I'm not saying that that's the case, but like, yes, they might have the same amount of experience as you, but are you saying you have 10 years experience in the industry and they've got 10 years working for that particular company?
I see.
And I'm not saying that every company is the same because some roles are so like clinical where you just do the job and it actually doesn't matter how deeply you know the organization because there's actually 10 million employees.
Yeah.
But for me, that's a very different situation. And I think putting that on the table is like, I don't know, maybe a thought provoker.
Worth considering for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll do 2 more. Next person said, talk with her union reps because it's possibly actually widespread. Might not just be you. And then the last one I'm going to share, it's actually 2. Oh, sorry. The last one I'm going to share is I think they changed the laws so that companies can't hide large pay gaps like this. And I think that that's where you should be looking. Like
That's very true.
understanding, do they have like a pay secrecy thing in your contracts? Where does that conversation come in? Have you asked your managers about like, oh, what's this role valued at? I think there's just lots of conversation to be happening. But what I'm learning is 1, communication, and 2, do your research and go in there prepared.
Absolutely.
But we're not brushing it under the rug.
No. Don't be the 8%.
What a
Very cool.
good little chat, guys. I've loved this, but unfortunately that is all we have time for today. So you know what? We'll see you bright and early on Monday morning for a Money Diary. Have a beautiful weekend, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.